I've discovered the secret of happiness is learning how to glide. I've discovered the secret of happiness is just enjoy the ride. Don't let the journey be tainted by pride. And I've discovered the secret of happiness is not to mourn the past. I've discovered the secret of happiness is not to run too fast.
A platform at the Bright River train station. I'm Charlie. A young girl sets her seat face down and glances about nervously. He speaks as though rehearsing a presentation.
Hello, my name is Shirley, but please call me Cordelia. I think Cordelia is a much better name for me. Don't you think? I am truly honored and excited to be going to Green Gables with you, Mr. Cuthbert. I feel I'm the most fortunate girl in the whole universe, or at least in the whole domain of Canada.
She walks to the edge of the platform and continues rehearsing.
Hello, my name is Shirley, but please call me Cordelia.
Her voice turns up, but she continues to mouth the words as the station master and Matthew Cuthbert in his early 60s enter and does not notice them.
There she is, at the end of the platform.
But it's a boy of comfort. Mrs. Spencer was to bring a boy over from Nova Scotia here to Bright River. Then I was to take him home to Avonlea.
Well, Mrs. Spencer got off the train with that girl and left her in my charge till we got here.
There must be some mistake.
Maybe she can explain it. She sure is a talker. That one, now. You'll excuse me, Matthew. That's the last train today, and I'm going home for my supper.
Exits. Matthew walks tentatively toward Anne. He stops reciting to herself and she sees him.
Oh, I do hope you're Mr. Matthew Cuthbert.
Well, now I reckon that's me.
Hello, my name is Shirley, but please call me Cordelia. I think Cordelia is much better.
Yes, I heard you saying all that a little earlier. You were talking kinda loud.
Oh yes, we tend to do that where I come from. I was beginning to be afraid you were coming for me. If you hadn't, I was going to climb that big cherry tree down the track, spend the night in it.
You're not a boy.
But I can climb all the same, and I wouldn't be the least bit afraid. I'd pretend the blossoms in the moonlight were columns in a castle.
Well, now I guess I can't live here. I'll take you home and see what Marilla says. The horse and buggy are over there. I'll carry your bag.
Oh, I can manage it. All my really goods are in it, but it isn't heavy. Now isn't that beautiful?
What?
That view over there, what does it make you think of?
Well, now I don't know.
Right, of course, with the misty veil. I don't ever expect to be a bride myself. I'm so homely nobody would ever want to marry me, except maybe a farm missionary. Not only am I homely, I'm also thin. I love to imagine I'm nice and plump with dimples in my elbows. Am I talking too much? People are always telling me I do. Would you rather than talk?
Somewhat unexpectedly, Matthew finds himself becoming intrigued by the wait before him.
Well, now I don't mind talkative folks so much since I'm kinda quiet myself. talk as much as you like.
Oh, thank you. I can already tell the kindred spirits, Mr. Cuthbert. I can hardly wait to see Green Gables. Mrs. Spencer said there's a brook nearby. That makes me almost perfectly happy. But I can never be perfectly happy because of this.
Your hair?
What color would you call it?
Red, ain't it?
Yes, red. I can imagine a man with freckles and green eyes and skinniness. But not my red hair. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to be divinely beautiful, Mr. Cuthbert?
Well, now, no, I haven't.
Will your sister like me even though not divinely beautiful?
I doubt that bother her much, but something else might. Might bother her a whole lot. We'd better get home.
Home! What a lovely sound. Almost angelic. I don't know that I'll ever get used to it.
Let's hope you'll get the chance. Come along now.
Oh yes, it's not the lake.
They start to leave.
Mrs. Spencer told me all about Green Gables, and it seems like a dream. I've pinched myself black and blue from the elbows up hoping it wasn't a dream. You see, Mr. Cuthbert, all my life,
Her voice trails off as they exit. Just to the kitchen, sitting room of Green Gables. There is a knock at the door. Marilla Cuthbert, a woman in her mid-50s, who enters from another part of the house.
Marilla, Marilla!
evening, Rachel.
Marilla, are you all right?
I had one of my headache yesterday, but I'm okay now. Why do you ask?
I was at my window selling fish this afternoon, and I saw Matthew going by this with the buggy and the solar mare,
Yes,
and I haven't seen him come back yet.
you've been sitting at your window for 3 hours?
We had a big pea harvest this year. Anyway, I overheard Matthew tell Peter Morrison over at Blair's store in Carmody yesterday that he meant to sow turnips today.
He finished.
And
He left.
and
That's about all there is to it.
I suspect that's not all there is to it, Marilla. But now being the nosy type, I certainly won't try.
Oh, I suppose you may as well know. Matthew went to Bright River. We're getting a little boy from an orphan asylum in Nova Scotia. He was to come in on the 5:30 train. They should be along soon. Sit and have some tea, Rachel.
I will sit, but no tea, thank you. I'm much too flabbergasted. Are you earnest, Marilla?
We've been thinking about it from some time. Matthew's getting up in years and his heart troubles seem a good deal. So we went for an orphan boy, old enough to do some chores right now, but young enough to be trained up proper.
Well, Marilla, I will tell you plain that I think you're doing my foolish thing. Bringing a strange child into your home, not knowing a single thing about him. Why, just last week I read in the paper about a man and his wife that took a boy out of the orphanage. And he set the fire to the house on purpose. And I heard of another case where an adopted boy sucked all the eggs he grabbed, but the worst one, they say, that over in New Brunswick, an open poured down the well and the whole family died in fearful agony. Only it was a girl in that instance.
Well, we're not getting a girl. Matthew's afraid of them, and I've never dreamed of bringing one up.
Well, I can wait to see how all this comes out. Look, there's Matthew and the boy pulling up now. Hard to see him in this light, but looks like the first thing you're going to have to do is give him a haircut. I will just slip out the side door so you and Matthew can be alone with the new boy, and I won't breathe a word about this. I will let you to break the news.
He starts to leave.
Oh, and Marilla, if were you, I'd keep the lid fastened real tight over the well.
She exits.
I thought you were so pretty. No, that's not the right word. Nor beautiful either. It was wonderful. Wonderful.
She and Matthew enter.
Oh, hello. You must be.
You got Bert. Who's that? Where's the boy?
There wasn't any boy. There was only her.
You asked for a boy. Why did you bring her?
I couldn't leave her at the station, no matter how the mistake came to be.
Well, this is a pretty piece of business.
You don't want me? You don't want me because I'm not a boy? I might have expected it. Nobody ever wanted me. I might have known I was too beautiful to last.
Well, there's no need to cry about it.
Yes, there is. You'd cry too. If you're an orphan had come to a place you thought was home, but wasn't because you weren't a boy.
Matthew offers her a handkerchief which she blows into, then returns to him. Marilla finds herself slightly amused, revealing the hint of a smile.
Well, don't cry anymore. We're not getting to turn you out of the doors tonight. What's your name?
My name is Aunt Shirley, but please call me Cordelia. I think Cordelia is much better.
What's wrong with calling you by your real name?
It's so unromantic.
Fiddlesticks. It's a good, plain, sensible name.
Very well. If you must call me Anne, please call me Anne spelled with an E at the end.
All right, and spelled with an E. Can you tell us how this mistake came to be? Were there no boys at the orphan asylum?
Oh yes, an abundance of boys. But Mrs. Spencer thought you wanted a girl. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert. Why didn't you tell me at the station you didn't want me to live with you?
Well, now
If I hadn't seen the white of the light and the lake of shining waters, it wouldn't be quite so hard to leave.
What on earth does she mean?
His new name she gave to the apple tree grove and Paris Pond.
Sounds like your imagination works overtime. Come upstairs and I'll show you where you can sleep tonight. Then we'll have some supper.
I won't have any, thank you. I can't eat when I'm in the depths of despair. Can you?
I've never been in the depths of despair, so I can't say.
You could imagine what it would be like.
I've got my hands full handling the real things in life. I got no time for imagination. Come on.
He and Anne exit in the direction of the upstairs. Matthew appears somewhat agitated. He takes a pipe and tobacco from a drawer, packs the pipe, then lights it. Marilla re-enters, calling back upstairs.
You can unpack your things first, then come back down. If you still don't want any supper, you can at least say goodnight. We'll send her back to the orphan asylum tomorrow.
Well, now
But you Cuthbert, you never light up that pipe unless something's weighing your mind. What is it?
I was just thinking it seems a kind of pity to send her back when she's so set on staying here.
You mean to say you think we ought to keep her? What good should be to us?
We might be so good to her.
I believe the child has bewitched you.
She's a real nice little thing, real interesting too. She talked my of coming home from the station.
Oh, she's a talker. All right, but nothing's in her favor. Anyway, you need somebody to help you with the chores.
I could hire a local boy part-time. The girl could be company for you.
I'm not suffering for company, and I don't aim to keep her. And I wish you'd go outside with that pipe.
I'll put the mare in the barn.
He exits. Marilla faces uncomfortably as Anne enters.
Oh, Miss Cuthbert, I love the view from the window upstairs. In the moonlight, the trees and flowers are probably shimmering. They seem to be calling me. Anne, come out to us. We need a playmate. But I don't dare go out, of course. There's no use in loving things if you have to be torn from there. Is there?
Can you do chores?
Oh yes, I can sweep and clean and wash dishes.
I mean outside chores. Oh, never mind. That Matthew, what's he got me thinking? He's a ridiculous man.
I think he's lovely. He didn't know how much I talked, and he seemed to like it. The moment I saw him, I felt we were kindred spirits.
You're both kind of strange, if that's what you mean by kindred spirits.
A knock at the door. Marilla answers, and Mrs. Blewett, a stern, austere woman, enters.
Evening, Mrs. Blewett.
Miss Cuthbert, I just ran into Miss Lynn at the bottom of the hill, and she told me you and your brother had adopted a little boy. Now, Mr. Blewett and I were thinking of getting us a young girl at that orphanage. They think they might have a hard-working girl with clear eyes and a strong back.
Well, it's a quiet coincidence, Mrs. Blewett. Perhaps a providential coincidence. We may be able to work something out right here. You see, we ordered a boy, but they sent this girl.
Not very stout looking, but worry that'll do. I guess if I take you, you'll have to be mighty good and smart and respectful. I'll expect you to earn your keep, make no mistake about that. I got a large family, they quarrel a lot, and the baby's awful fractious. I could take care of the whole lot for me. Yes, I'll take her off your hands, Miss Cuthbert. If you like, I can take her home right now.
Anne is ashen. She practically cowers behind Marilla.
Well, that might be a good thing for Matthew and me to think about. You see, you haven't absolutely decided we couldn't keep her. We will let you know tomorrow.
Well, I suppose that'll have to do. Good night.
6.
Oh, Miss Cuthbert, did you really say that perhaps she'll let me stay Green Gables?
Yes, perhaps, and no more. Although Mrs. Blewett certainly needs you more than I do.
I'd rather go back to the orphanage than live with her. Oh, please, let me stay here. I'll do anything you ask of me.
Well, you might start by going upstairs and getting rest for bed. And don't forget to say your prayers.
I don't know how.
You've never been taught to say prayers? You love God, don't you?
Well, he gave me red hair, so I never prayed for him very much.
Young lady, I can see you need some strong religious training. And we'll start right now with your prayers. Kneel down here with me.
She and Anne kneel.
Repeat after me. Now I lay me down to sleep.
Now I lay me down to sleep. Why must he know to pray? Would it be closer to heaven standing up? I'm sorry, Miss Cuthbert. What comes next?
I pray the Lord my. Oh, you're old enough to pray for yourself. Just thank God for His blessing and ask Him humbly for the things you want.
Okay. Dear Father, I thank Thee for the weight of the light and the lake of shining waters. And that's all the blessings I can think of right now.
I am in a foreign world. motorist, a suffragette, a Methodist, a Fabian, a Freudian, the class valedictorian. Or what else, heaven knows. Like other girls, like other girls.